Yo, 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 yo. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Um, I know it's a bit of an odd time for me to be on and live. However, um, this was the following may or may not be hilarious to you, but it is quite hilarious to me. It was quite hilarious to me. So, welcome everybody who's in the chat. Good morning. Jan, good morning, my dear. Good morning. Um, I put the topic as "We Are Apes" um, because that's the topic of the video. Derek, what's up? Um, I don't believe that we're from apes. I'm not saying that I do, but anyway, the topic today is about how dumb you could make yourself look if you don't answer questions or understand what question you're being asked. And you can be that dumb regardless of how smart you think you are, myself included. I cannot understand a question and try to answer a question that was never asked because I'm thinking, um, you know, that I know everything. The following excerpt is from the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and he had a author on by the name of Aaron Ra, a weirdo, real character. Um, his his entire premise is that we are apes, but humans are a subcategory of that hominoidea. Apes are the parent. We are all apes, and then down the line, it's humans. Now, the entire premise of this video you're about to see is based around the question that Jesse asked him. Ask him. You'll see why I did that in a minute. So without further ado, again, listen carefully to the question, and you tell me if you think he answers the question that Jesse asks him. Okay? Just, just listen to the question. All right. Here we go.
You wrote a book called "We Are All Apes."
That's correct.
Where's your proof that we are all apes?
What is an ape?
Okay, see, right off the bat, he's gonna do this continually throughout the entire thing. Jesse will ask a question, and he will answer with a question, trying to be condescending, and I am super intelligent, and I'm going to try and flip this back on you, Jesse. But there was a specific question asked of him, and he did not in the least answer that question. Yeah, so this is going to happen continually. Okay, continually. So let's back up and get the question again.
That's correct.
Where's your proof that we are all apes?
Where is your proof that we are all apes? That's the question. Where is your proof that we are all apes? Okay, pretty straightforward question.
What is an ape?
Right. What is the ape?
Right. An ape is any member of the taxonomic superfamily Hominoidea.
Amazing. Have you ever seen a human being turn into you ever seen an ape? Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Now, there's the main question of the entire show. The main question of the entire show. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being? And he does this scene, okay? It's a pretty straightforward question. There is no trickery, no tomfoolery. have you ever seen a ape turn into a human? Okay, that's the question. Here's the response. I can't call it an answer. Here's the response.
Have I ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
Okay, all right.
No, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human
Have I ever
being?
seen a car turn into a Corvette?
Can you hear me?
I was wondering the same thing. Not sure what you're going off on all those tangents for. The question was, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being? I don't see what all of the other tributaries of thought that you're going into. I don't. Can you can you hear the question? Okay.
Yeah. Have I ever seen a shark turn into a fish?
I didn't ask about any of those things. I asked, when have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
I'm trying to illustrate the fallacy of your question.
How's that fallacy? You wrote that we're all ape. You must have.
And we are.
You
And that
must
book,
have at some point all these hundreds and
right? The
thousands
proof
of
is in there.
years. At some
That
point,
book is
you would
that book
have
is
seen if
24
an
illustrated pages long.
ape turned into a human being. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
Now, please, people, please tell me if the question that Jesse is asking, black guy, is being answered by Aaron. Okay? The question really is, have you, whether or not you think the concept of it is a fallacy, the question was, have you ever seen a ape turn into a human? And logically, if you've never seen that, you can say, no, never seen that. And then you say, because it's not possible. That's what your answer could be. Exactly. It's literally a yes or no question. There's not all this diatribe that you have to go on trying to prove your intelligence while at the same time showing your ignorance. It gets worse. When I say it gets exponentially worse, it gets exponentially worse. And I mean for Aaron, not for Jesse, for the clown Aaron. Okay, here he goes.
Once again, humans are apes in the same way that a duck is a bird. So if you ask me if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck, that's kind of a stupid question. We're asking
Because
you,
I
have
didn't
ever
ask
seen a
that.
duck?
I didn't ask
Okay,
that. I asked
I
you.
mean,
I asked you. Ask. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
That is a nonsense question.
Why?
Because it's like asking for a place halfway between Los Angeles and California.
Again, when you try to be overly smart, you end up looking overly dumb.
No, it's not. I didn't ask about that.
I know. Well, you don't know what you asked.
I do know. You wrote.
So hold on. You're telling me that you're telling the man he doesn't know what he's asking because you don't understand the question? He doesn't know what he's asking because you're too dumb to understand the question. That's how this works, huh? Me exposing your stupidity proves that I'm dumb? What? No. That's not how this works. Okay?
This
Because
book called "We Are All Apes,"
and it gives the proof
I'm
in the book.
asking, have you?
Okay. Now, there's one other thing I want you to log in your mind, okay? Log this, write it down. Write it down, this particular thing. Listen carefully to what he says. I give the proof in the book. Log that away. I give the proof, that underline that word, proof, in the book, be sure to, and I'm asking you, please do it. Log the word proof away. Okay? Just log it away. Log it, log it, log it, log it, log it. Write it down. Proof. Said by Aaron. I give proof in the book.
We are all apes.
And it gives
so
the proof
I'm
in the book.
asking, have you personally seen a human being, an ape turn into a human being?
It would be impossible for a human being to be anything other than an ape, for the same reason that it is impossible for a dachshund to be anything but a dog. Have you ever seen a dog turn into a dachshund?
Why are you running from that question?
I'm not. I'm
why?
answering
you're
the
running.
question. I'm illustrating.
No,
what's
you're
wrong with the
running.
question.
You're running from that question. You wrote
I
this
am-
book
I
that
am
we are
facing
apes.
you head on, answering your question directly.
No, actually, Aaron, you're not. You're not answering the question at all. Like, you're asking every other question and not answering a single one. Now, I'm not sure you understand this, Aaron, but you can't logically answer a question with a question, because then you're not actually addressing the question. What you're doing is readdressing something that you want. You're redirecting the conversation to where you want it to be, because you're uncomfortable with the line that the actual question is going with. That's all that is. You're telling the person that, you got me. I can't go down that road, though. I have to bring you to a different road so I can look like I'm right. Gets worse. Again, I remember the word I told you, write down. Okay.
No, you're not.
Humans are a subset of the category of apes.
I didn't ask you that.
We
I
start
asked
out.
you
What?
how
We
have
can't. So therefore, it is.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I'm going to back it up again. I'm going to just a little bit so you can hear exactly what he just said. Here we go.
Category of apes.
I didn't ask you that.
We
I
start
asked
out
you
apes.
how
We
have
can't. So therefore, it is nonsense
Hold on.
of the category of apes.
I didn't ask you. We are
Facing
apes.
you head on,
Uh-huh.
answering your question
Okay.
directly.
No, you're
Okay.
not.
Humans are a subset of the category of apes.
I didn't ask you that.
We
I
start
asked
out
you
apes.
how
We
have
can't. So therefore, it is nonsense. It makes no sense to.
We start out as apes. So the question then, you've just solidified for yourself that the question makes sense. You have just told Jesse that the question does indeed make sense, because you said we start out as apes. So if we start out as apes, we're not apes now in terms of the way apes are. What he's trying to mesh is this idea that we never leave the genre of apes, the genome of apes. We are always going to be apes, just a different type of ape. That's what he's trying to, convey. But he's even messing up his own self by saying we start out as apes, which means that there's an endpoint, or at least a transition point from the start. He'll do this from time to time, where he'll say something, catch himself, and he stopped right away. He really doesn't understand what he's trying to, portray, because he says he can prove it. So here we go, prove it.
Ask how the parent category turns into the subcategory.
The parent category, parent. So one is the origin, the others are the, okay. So apes came first. A ape or multiple apes in every different type? It's a simple question, but of course you probably won't be able to answer that either.
It is exactly the same as asking if I've ever seen a bird turn into a duck. Do you understand why your question? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck? How about I ask you
But that
question?
wasn't the question.
But that's the same
Yeah, exactly.
question.
Wasn't the
You
question.
wrote the
see
book saying we are.
fallacy.
You tried to
Can a
divert.
duck? Can
You
a
tried to
duck
deviate
not,
from the question.
Can
And
a
you
duck
wrote a
not be a
book
bird?
called "We Are All Apes."
Can a
And so
duck
how
not be a
how
bird?
can you write a book that says we're all?
Can a duck not be a bird? You mean, is a duck a bird? Yes, a duck is a type of bird, but a duck cannot be a bird because okay. Can a duck not be a bird? It already is a bird. Okay. But if you're going to categorize humans and apes in the same, you have to tell me which one was which. You can't derive a humanoid in my book, as far as evolution, and not have, just hear me out, you can't not have a classification of which one showed up first. You see, bird is a blanket term for the type. And there are different types of birds. Now, he wants us to believe that we are still apes. We're just an advanced form of ape. You know, I don't think he'll ever tell you how we became this advanced without us being a different type of ape before. You get what I'm saying? So like either like a bird shows up and it's a nightingale. Okay, are you going to tell me that the nightingale was something else before it became the nightingale? Or did it just be the nightingale when it showed up? Was a bird called a nightingale, and there's a bird called a robin. So you're trying to tell me that there's an ape called a orangutan, and then there's an ape called a human. So did we pop out as humans? Or did we evolve from a different type of ape, which would then again still lend credence to Jesse's question, have you ever seen us come from one to the other? So either way, he's still telling Jesse that the question has credence, but he all right, continue, Mr. Ra.
Ape. Well, you
Just
never
like
seen a ape turn into a human being.
Have you ever seen a duck turn into a? Have you ever seen a bird turn into a duck? or
Why are you
vice
dodging
versa?
the question, man?
I'm not dodging the question. I'm answering it.
No, you're not.
Can
It's like
a
when I
duck?
asked you if you love a Christian, you went
And I
all
answered
around.
that question,
I asked you where you going. You tell me where you been.
and I answered your question directly.
No, you didn't. You're not answering
Yes,
this
I
one.
did.
So one
You
more
don't
time
understand
with
what
that,
the
and
word
then we have
Yes,
to
I
move
means.
on.
You don't
Have you
understand what the
ever
word
seen
ape
an
means. That's
ape?
why I'm trying to explain it to you.
Have you ever seen?
So he's trying to explain a question that he says doesn't make sense with an answer that's a question that doesn't make sense. You get it. You get it. We are here. Okay. these people are different, man. Oh gosh, these people are different. All right, continue.
An ape turn into a human being?
Okay, let's look at that. What does the word ape mean? That means
No one is asking what an ape. No one, literally, no one asked that question. Nobody on the screen has asked that question of you, Aaron. You want to try and expound on something that you want to harp on to make yourself seem like you know more than you think you know. But no one asked you that. No one asked you what an ape is. Nobody said, no, not a soul. No one. Anyway, continue.
that means a bipedal hominoid with a certain number of hair follicles, with a certain type of teeth, with fingerprints and fingernails. That means all of these descriptive features that we share. Have I ever seen us turn into us?
You just use a word, but you're not making sense, because I do
know,
want to
because
know.
you don't know anything at all.
Have you ever seen us turn into us? You know, there are some birds that will eat people, and then there are some birds that won't. Yeah. But I don't recall anybody saying that a robin is the same as a, let's say, flamingo. Completely different altogether. While it might be a species called the bird, is not what, just because they have feathers. completely different. And neither one is linked to the other except by the idea that they have wings. Mhm. So because an ape, or rather monkeys, or whatever you want to call them, hominoidea, have teeth that look like ours, facial structure that looks like ours, we must have come from them. They have hair, must have come from them. Not that humans are a completely different species altogether. No, we share another species. Did you know that there is an animal called the duck-billed platypus? Yeah. Um, the duck-billed platypus has a beak, but it's not a bird. Yeah. It also has webbed feet, but it's also not a duck. It's not a bird either. It has a lot of features that a bird might have, but it ain't a bird. A completely different thing altogether. Mammal. But I mean, if we took your referencing, I mean, we do it like you. I guess we could probably make some sense of it. Anyway, continue.
All about taxonomy
Okay.
whatsoever.
Uh,
So how can I
so you're
explain
not able to
taxonomy
answer
to
that
somebody who
question.
doesn't know anything about it?
So
You
you're not
understand that the
able
word
to answer
ape-
that
You
question.
hear? You hear the condescension? You can't understand it because you don't know anything about it. Blah 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 blah. But you're not answering my question.
I
Do you
want to do
understand
a
that the word
follow up.
ape? Do you understand that the word ape is a taxonomic question? Right? That's a taxonomic word. You understand what it means?
No, that's not the question, though. You're deviating.
No, I'm not deviating. What
Now,
does the
if
word
you
ape
can
mean?
prove to me that you've seen a ape turn
What
into a human
does the
being,
word
that
ape mean?
word can mean many things. But let me ask
Yeah,
you this.
but this word means one thing. What does it mean?
I have no idea.
It means any member of the taxonomic superfamily Hominoidea, which means that it has a number of these characteristics: fingernails, fingernails and fingerprints, the certain type of dentition that we have, the certain type of ears that we have, all of these characters, the two pectoral mammae, etc. There's a whole long list of different physical characteristics that define what an ape is.
Okay,
So
fine.
when
I don't
you
care
ask
about
me,
the humanati, but what I
no,
do
you
want
don't
to
care what
know.
the word.
I don't care about the Illuminati. Jesse kills me, man. Oh, he said he can't imagine trying to read the book. Look, I understand. I understand. I couldn't imagine trying to read that book neither.
I do want to know if you ever
You want
seen
to
an
ask
ape.
me a nonsense question.
I want to
and you
know, have
cannot
you ever seen
understand.
an ape turn into a human being? After all these years, you would have think that somebody, somewhere, somehow would have seen an ape turn into a human being, and no one has ever seen that.
Considering that we started out as apes. His words, not mine, not Jesse's. He said we start out as apes.
Except that you're asking a question that makes no sense.
Even the people in books that you have read and the folks that you listen to
Okay. Are we done here?
Have never seen that.
Are we done here? Because you're not going to listen to my explanation. You're asking me a
because you're not answering my question.
I am answering your question.
You're going around my
you
question.
don't understand what it means.
You're going around my question. You're not answering my question.
I did not go around your question.
You did. I asked you, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
You don't know what the word ape means.
I don't care about the word. I do know what it means. I'm asking you.
Okay, then tell me, what does the word ape mean?
I asked you, have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being?
You're using these words. I want to know what you think these words mean, because I know what the words mean.
Okay, good. Using a word that you don't know what it means. You remember that word I gave you? Remember that word I gave you earlier on? That word to log, the word proof, right? Proof. Remember that word? I believe that he doesn't know what the word proof means. He's using the word proof, but doesn't know what the word proof means. I have a suspicion I forgot to turn this to public. Hang on, because I can't see any of the chat in my Facebook. So I'm going to make sure I turn on my chat in Facebook because I know how this works sometimes. No, it's public. It must be that no one's on there. All right, so let's do that. All right. Okay. Proof. Remember that word, proof. Okay. It's essential that you remember this word. All right.
One thing
And
I know for sure,
Yeah, I know for sure what
I
the
know
words mean,
for
and I can
sure
prove, and I can prove what
that-
the words mean. But you,
Okay. Again, that word pops up again. Proof. Okay. All right.
you
may be
and
using
no
them
one has
incorrectly, and I
ever
think you are
seen
using them incorrectly.
you and
So
those
what does the word ape mean to you?
and those people who are claiming that apes turned into human being or human being
I
came
don't
from
claim
apes.
that apes turn into
No.
human beings. We are
That human
apes.
being came from apes.
A
Have
human,
no
a
proof
human
of that
being can't be
at
anything
all.
other than an ape.
Remember, you see how Jesse used his own words, right? Listen.
Apes
A
have
human,
no
a
proof
human
of
being
that.
can't.
Human being or human being
I
came
don't
from
claim
apes.
that apes turn
I
into
know.
human beings. We are
That human
apes.
being came from apes.
A
Have
human,
no
a
proof
human
of
being
that
can't be
at
anything
all.
other than an ape. We
Hey,
are classified as apes.
you're not listening.
Oh no, you're not listening.
No, you're not listening.
Okay. All right. So is that where we're going to be here?
No.
Are we done?
No.
You either learn how to have the communication both ways, or we're done here.
You have to learn how to answer questions.
You got to learn how to answer questions. Oh my goodness gracious, bro. It's a simple question, bro. Have you ever seen it? It's obvious that you have not, okay? It is pretty stinking obvious that nobody has ever seen, no one, not a single soul has ever seen an ape turn into a that's you can say that. It's okay to admit that you have never seen with your own eyes a ape turn into a human being. You can say that, bro. It's not going to negate your case. It's not going to unravel your theory. None of it. It's not going to affect you in the least by admitting to the fact that you, Mr. Aaron, has never seen a ape turn into a human being. It's okay to admit that that's never been seen by you. I don't get it. Okay, if your theory is that you can't happen because we are apes, good. Okay, that's your theory. I don't agree with it, but that's your theory. The question still holds water. Have you ever seen an ape turn into a human being? Whether or not it's possible, whether or not it's plausible, the question is, have you ever seen it take place? The answer is no. No, I've never seen that take place. You see how easy that was to answer the question? Interesting.
I did answer the
No,
question.
you didn't.
Yes, I did. I
No,
explained
you
to you
did
why
not
the
answer
question
the
makes no
question.
sense.
Let me
I
ask.
explained to you why the question makes no sense.
That's
Have
what you
ever seen a
did.
Bird turn into
That is what you did. You explained why the question didn't make sense to you, but you've never answered the question. Hmm? Yeah. All right. Continue, Mr. Ra.
a duck. Does that question make any sense to you?
Right, just like, have you ever seen a ape
Do
turn
you
into a
understand that all
human?
birds are
It's
ducks? I mean,
as
excuse me,
dumb as that.
Do you understand that ducks are birds?
That question is as dumb as the question about apes.
What you asked
You
me is a
believe
dumbass
that
question.
Now, okay, again, this is proof that he's not listening, right? Listen to what Jesse says.
Question is as dumb as the question.
That question is as dumb as the question, blah, blah, blah. That's what Jesse said. That question is as dumb as the question. Now listen to what he says.
About apes.
What you asked me is a
believe
dumbass
that
question.
apes.
Right? What you're asking me is a dumb A question. Jesse never said anything about dumb A. He says it's dumb as the question you're asking me. But because moron on the screen here doesn't understand how to listen, he's hearing what he wants to hear. Here he goes.
Trying to
Turned
show you
into
how dumbass it is. Do you
No one ever said that word, but he interjects it into the conversation because he's frustrated.
understand that ducks
Did you say
are
dumb
birds?
ass?
Do you understand that ducks are
Did you say
birds?
dumb ass? What the?
Yes.
Let me
Do
ask
you
you
understand
this.
that ducks are birds?
You believe in evolution, right?
I don't believe in it. No, I can show it, demonstrate it, prove it. Even
There it is again. There it is again. Write that down. You believe in evolution, right? No, I can demonstrate it and prove it. He said he can prove it. The theory of evolution, he can prove it. Remember that. Remember that. He can prove evolution. Prove. Prove. Here we go.
to you. Do you understand that ducks are birds?
Why do you believe in evolution if
Because I can prove it
if no
even-
one has
Again, I can prove it. Even to you, I can prove it.
ever seen it?
But we have seen it.
No, you haven't.
We've relied on it throughout the entire history of
No one has
agriculture.
ever
It
seen
is
it.
demonstrated fact. We can observe it. We can test it, verify it numerous ways. I can prove that even to you.
So why?
Again, I can prove it. 4. I can prove. 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 Remember, he can prove it. He can prove it.
Now
Why
get back
is
to my question
evolution?
so that you can understand this.
Why is
Do
evolution
you
still?
understand?
Why
you
is
understand that
evolution just a theory even today?
Okay. All right. Now, Jesse is good. When I say this man is good, he is good. People might think Jesse's dumb. Yet Jesse is not dumb. He is not stupid. This man is brilliant. he is brilliant. You know why he's brilliant? Because he will make smart people become their worst enemy by the simple fact that he knows what is right and what is wrong. And when you know right from wrong, no amount of intelligent tomfoolery will get the better of you. Because that's all he's doing is intelligent tomfoolery. He blabs. Okay. Now, he cornered him, and there is zero way out of this because he let his pride get the best of him. I can prove. So why is it only a theory? Why is evolution a theory? You ready for this one? You ready for this one? Okay. This is where it gets really good.
Why is it that atomic theory is just a
See,
theory?
you're not.
Again, the question with the question. Why is it atomic theory is only a theory?
Answer the question. You answer
I
the
am.
question with
I'm
another
explaining to you
crazy
what's the
question.
problem. Why is it the theory of gravity is just a theory today? You know
Why is evolution still considered a theory?
For the same reason that atomic theory is still considered a theory.
Why?
For the same reason that the theory of gravity is still a theory.
Why?
For the same reason that the germ theory of disease is still a theory.
But why?
So
For the same
because
reason
it
that
can't
the
be
cell theory of
proven to be
biology is
real.
theory.
Okay. Why?
Because there is a rule in science that we want to go the complete opposite direction of religion, and rather than assert things to be true that are not true, we are not allowed to proclaim absolute truth. So
we are not allowed to proclaim absolute truth, but you can prove evolution. Wouldn't that be an absolute truth? That you're telling me evolution did indeed happen. That's an absolute truth. You said you could prove it. That would be an absolute. That'd be an absolute truth. But you say science, you're not allowed to come to an absolute truth about anything. Okay.
So everything that we know to be true
Uh-huh.
has to be regarded as a theory on the hypothetical potential, at least, that something could be improved or changed later on.
That's
So
amazing.
there is a rule.
Because of
rule in
time, let me
science-
ask you this.
There is a rule in science
Uh-huh.
that you cannot
No,
prove.
you
But only he doesn't know what the word proof means. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Could be improved or changed later on.
That's
So
amazing.
there is a rule.
Because
there is a
of
rule in
time, let me
science-
ask you this.
There is a rule in science that you cannot
No,
prove.
you're talking
and if there is a
theory,
rule in science, I'm answering your question. You
but
won't
you're
let me
talking
answer it.
theory.
I'm answering the question, and you won't let me answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
There is a rule in science that says that you cannot prove any theory to be true in the positive sense.
Oh, that there's a rule in science that you cannot prove anything in the positive sense. But I can prove to you evolution exists and evolution is real and true and happens. Are you going to prove it in the negative sense that you haven't seen it undone or you haven't seen it not happen? How exactly are you going to prove evolution to me in the negative sense? There once was a ship that sailed to sea. Okay. I'm curious, man. I'm curious. Thank you, Star. I'm curious. How you gonna prove something that can't be proven if it's you just said you can't prove it. Your words, can't prove it. But you're gonna prove it to him. There's a rule in science that you can't prove anything in the positive.
At most, the most you can do is show. That
I
it's
know
not true.
scientists who have proved that God exists, and I know
No, you
those
don't.
who are against God and they
No, you
think
don't.
that God doesn't exist.
No, you don't.
But let me ask
No,
you,
no, you
because
don't.
of
You
time.
don't know.
So he knows everything. Jesse said that I know scientists that can prove that God exists. Okay. He said, no, you don't. You don't know anybody that can prove God exists. You want to hear the reason why he believes that no one has proven that God exists? Here's his reasoning.
No,
I
you
do
don't know
know.
any scientists.
I know
No,
scientists
you
who
don't.
have proved that God
No,
exists.
You don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Then where is their Nobel Prize? Why have I not heard of them? Why are there still atheists? Why is
Because
the majority of the scientific community still
Because
atheist?
because the
If
Nobel
some
Prize
scientist had ever
people.
proved that God existed, then we would all know that God exists, right?
Because
But we don't. Nobody knows that
Oh
God
yes,
exists.
but let me ask.
That's why there are more and more scientists every year who are atheists, who are walking away.
You want to hear the true reason why he's so upset? It's coming out now. Do you want to know what the real reason behind his being angry is? Here he comes.
From their faith. Atheism is on the rise in all 50 states and around the world, while Christianity is in a general state of decline.
The reason
everywhere.
that there are Nobel
In the last 20 years, atheism has eclipsed Judaism, then Catholicism, and now even Protestantism. Yes, there are less, and that's just in the regular community. In the scientific community, if there's only a third of people who still believe in God in any concept at all. So no, you don't know.
Oh
any
yes,
scientist.
yes
who
I do.
proved
So he admits that there are some scientists that are still believers. But you can't prove that God exists. But you can prove evolution, but at the same time can't prove. Remember, we don't have to, by your standards, we don't have to prove it. Scientifically, that's why we won't win an award, because we can't prove that God exists. But we can prove that God exists by your standards too, because we can prove evolution exists. This is how dumb these people are. This is how dumb they are. Absolutely dumb. Just next level dumb.
And you can't
And
show
let me
documentation
say
of
this to you. You asked why there are no Nobel
Okay.
Peace
All right, I
Prize
think we're
for.
done. If all you're going to do is lie to me,
You asked why there are Nobel
and
Peace.
that's apparently all you're going to do,
You
then
asked
we
why
can't
aren't
have
there
a
any
meaningful conversation.
You asked why are there any Nobel Peace Prize for the scientists who have proven God exists?
That's not what
Because
I said
of
at
people
all.
who
I
hand
said-
out.
Yeah, that is exactly what you said. That is exactly what you need me to go back and tell you what you said? Here we go.
Oh,
any
yes.
scientist.
Yes,
who
I do.
proved, and you can't
And
show
let me
documentation
say
of
this
that.
to you. You asked why there are no Nobel
Okay.
Peace
All right, I
Prize
think we're done.
for
The community, if there's around the world, well, Christianity is
because
but we don't. Nobody knows that
oh
God
yes,
exists.
but let me ask.
That's why there are more and more. There's still atheists. Well, scientists.
I know
No,
scientists
you
who
don't.
have proved that God
No,
exists.
There
You
he goes.
don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes.
Then where is their Nobel Prize? Why
There's a question. There's a question. Now, he asked it, didn't he? That's his words. Then where is the Nobel Peace Prize? Okay, now go back to what you said.
going to do?
You
Then
asked
we
why
can't
aren't
have
there
a
any
meaningful conversation.
you asked why are there any Nobel Peace Prize for the scientists who have proven God exists?
That's not what I
Because
said
the
at
people
all.
who
I
hand
said,
out
Odd, mister, because you did indeed say exactly what Jesse said you said. Just,
I
out
called you
the-
out. You
the
told a
people-
lie.
I called you out? What lie did he tell? What lie did he tell? He says he knows. You can't disprove that he says what he said. You can't. In order for it to be a lie, you have to be able to disprove what Jesse said. You said that he doesn't know any scientist that has proven God because you haven't met them. So that means it's not true. So if that's your measure of truth, you are yet to answer his first question, which means that you're lying. Okay, good. Glad we could establish that.
the people
You
who
said that there were scientists who proved that
Hold
God
on.
exists.
Say, hold on.
There is no scientist. There is no.
Say, get behind me.
No.
Hold on.
No,
Satan, get behind me.
scientist has ever done that. If that had happened,
Let me say
there would
this to
be
you.
buckets of documentation.
Let me
for
say
it.
that the reason
scientist
that
would have gotten the Nobel Prize and the Templeton Prize, they'd be
all
world
right,
famous.
fine. The reason that the scientists who prove that God
There is no science to
exists
prove God exists.
doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize because the people who are handing out the Nobel Peace Prize
No,
are of
no.
their father, the devil. So they hate the children
there
of
is
God.
no devil either. Okay, I think we're done here.
Here's the problem, people. The reason why I wanted to do the reaction to this thing. Here's why. We get a lot of people that will assert something as 100% true, tell you they can prove it. And then when you ask them to prove it, they will tell you, do your own research. Or when you ask them to prove it, they say, how do you not know that already? Or when you ask them to prove it, they say, I don't need to prove it to you because it's true. What they're really saying is that I have no proof. Just take my word for it and quit questioning my word. My word is as good as anything else I can give you. So just take it. They're used to idiots just taking their word. They're not used to people critically thinking past their stupidity. Men like that guy couldn't answer simple questions because he is more interested in trying to mumbo jumbo his way through. You see it today. You see it today at press conferences with the current administration. They say a lot of nothing, hoping that you'd fall for it and not realize that they didn't answer the question. They'll hope that. That's what they'll hope. But we got to be smarter than them and hold them to the same question. You see how Peter Ducey does it? You got to, hey, answer the question. But that wasn't the question. Okay, answer that. That wasn't the question. Answer the question. Have you seen it? No. Okay, there's the answer. You know, it's just crazy to me. It's a good example of where we are as a society today. That people like that guy can write a book and think, "Ooh, I'm intelligent," only to be schooled by somebody he thinks is dumb. My ways are above yours. My wisdom is not your kind of wisdom. I will use, how did he say it? I will use the wisdom. I will use the foolish to confound the wise. Is that what he says? I will use the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, right? And people that think that Jesse is foolish is confounding the so-called wise. If you still think he doesn't exist, that video shows me more God existing than it does evolution. Because that guy, okay, in some ways it could prove evolution because he has not moved past ape. His intelligence has not moved past ape. He's still in the arm scratching and tree swinging phase of his life. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be the kind of guy also that falls for it. Trust me, Melody, Janice does not think that Obama is the GOAT. He might be a GOAT, but he's not the GOAT. She does not think that. Trust me. Yeah, at all. I know Janice personally. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next week is the week, okay? Interview week starts next week. I'm booked out a full month, and also a very big announcement is coming next week as well. Very big announcement is coming next week as well. The beginning of the week is going to be a kickoff week for the interviews, as well as something way bigger. For me, anyway, way bigger. It's about time to move a little bit up. I'm going to be moving up a little bit. So yeah, so tune in next week starting Monday. My first guest will be my buddy Richie. He's on the 5th. He will be there. First off, he's the kickoff guy. And then I have everybody else booked out until the end of September. I have interviews every day of this month. Many people wanted to share their life story, and they'll get the chance to do that. So tune in. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I think it'll be a very good, encouraging section for people. So if after that month I feel it could go on a little bit more, we'll see. But if I might give myself some time after that, give a break, and then start another month of it. But we'll see how it goes. This is a good testing phase, but I'm looking forward to it. This should be fun. So thank you again for for tuning in. And no other show has held more weight about the last statements I'm going to make than this one. Because wisdom calls to you from the street. Please, 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 please find wisdom. Peace.